Hi, Mrs. Fairy. First, I just want to thank you so much for coming out to parent-teacher conferences. I really love having your daughter, Princess, in my class. Every day she comes in with a huge smile on her face and runs up to me and tells me something really interesting, and she always wants to give me a hug, and she really brings this light and this happiness to the room. I just want to give you like a general overview of some of the things that we do in the classroom to know how each student is doing individually. So we've done about 6 different types of assessments. We've done some of them multiple times with all of the students. The first kind of assessment that we do is called a reading interview. So what it is just really simple. I just sat down with your daughter and I asked her some questions about reading, like what makes a good reader and who is a good reader to you, how did you learn to read. We also take writing samples. Here's a writing sample right here. So your daughter wrote a few sentences in her journal, and usually when we write in our journal it's responding to some kind of prompt. The topic was on something outdoors, so she was able to write a sentence. You look at that and we're able to see how she writes. So does she write like left to right, and do they write down the page, do they put spaces in between their words? And so we're able to look at it like that, and that helps us to know exactly what they need focus. Another type of assessment that we do in our class is also with writing. It's called sentence dictation. So that means that I'll read a short story to them. So it's only about like two sentences. The one that I read to them last week was about like, today I rode the bus to school, and then my friend walked to school. So something simple like that, with words that they'll know and some words that they don't. And what they really just need to do is write down the letters that they hear. And because they're going to, first I'll read the story through, and then I'm going to read it again word for word, and the children will write down each word one by one as I say it. And I'll wait till they're done to move on to the next one, and then we'll go back and see and look at if they got each part of the word, like the beginning sound, middle sound, ending sound, and then we'll know, oh, maybe a student is having trouble with the middle vowel, and then we can focus on that. And that is where I would have your daughter, for example, read a book to me, or I would read it to her, and then I'd ask her questions about it. So I'll be like, what happened in the beginning? What happened in the middle? What happened in the end? Who were the characters? What's the setting? And in doing that, we can understand really a lot with comprehension. So if she's understanding what she read or what she heard, and if we need to focus on that, or what we need to focus on with that. The 5th type of assessment that we do is called, it's like a spelling test, and I'll just read words and slowly, and then the student writes them down. And with doing that, we'll do simple words: fan, pet, dig, rob, hope, and we'll read it one by one and let the students take their time and sound out the word and write it down from what they hear. And then we can, just like I could go through here and analyze if the students get the consonants, vowels, digraphs, blends, like that, and I'll explain that a little bit more as we get into detail. And then we also do something that's called running records. So really quick, that's just when I'll have your daughter read a book to me, just like this book that we were just reading the other day, Jim and Kit. So she'll read this book to me, and I'll just keep track on what words she said right and any errors or mistakes. And then we'll go back and see and analyze the words or wherever the mistake was, or repetition, and see why it was like that, and to see if maybe it was due to the content of the sentence, if it was the spelling of the word made it look like a different word, and then we'll know exactly how to help from there. And so I want to tell you about some awesome strengths that I have seen that your daughter has in the classroom, and there's a ton of them, but I'll just cut it down to a couple that we can focus on. So as I was working with your daughter and we did the spelling test. So Princess, she did amazing. Normally in kindergarten, so on this test there's 26 words, but normally in kindergarten they only get the first few words, but she just wanted to keep going and going, and she did very well. So she was able to get all of the initial consonants and the final. So like in fan, she was able to put F and an N. So she knows how to write her consonants because she did this letter sounds and then was able to write them down correctly. She did mix up the B and the D, but that is normal at this age. So we're working with all of the students on that. And also with this, she also did very well with the short vowel sounds. She got almost 100% on all of those words, and she did 12 out of the 26 words, which is awesome. And so she also did so well in comprehension. So it was a little bit hard when she read the book herself, and then because I think she was just more worried about saying all of the words correctly. But when I read the book to her, she could tell me everything that happened. She could tell me the beginning, the middle, and the end, and she could tell me the characters and the setting. So she did very well with that, and she did that with 3 different texts. And then she also did very well with the sentence dictation, and she is able to write exactly what she hears. So just due to how we know that she's working with a speech therapist, and the other people in that category, that I tell her a word, and sometimes she'll say the word again so that she can write it down, and sometimes she would say it wrong, but she would write it down what she heard. So I knew that as I was listening to her and watching her, every time that she would write down each letter of the sound that she heard. So she knows how to write down each letter and the sound of it, which is really awesome at this point in the school year. I'm very proud of her. And so I just wanted to talk about really quick with you how you can keep working with her on these things, her awesome strengths, and how I'm going to keep working with her here at school, and some ways that you can work with her at home so she can get even better at all of this, and just keep reinforcing it. So at school here, with her spelling, so we're going to have a word wall for the kids. So we already have this little word wall, but we're going to keep working on it. And at home, I am going to send home a stack of words with your daughter, so you can work with Princess on the words that she specifically needs some help on. And so what I would like you to do whenever you get time at home, you can definitely do this, is just have the words laid out on a table, on the bed, on the floor, wherever, and say a word out loud, and then have her find that card and set it aside. So therefore you're gonna see, like, if she's pointing out the right word, if she knows how it's spelled, because a lot of them are going to be similar, and that'll just help her a lot with that. And with the retelling, so here at school we're going to do something that's called storyboards. So that's when we'll read a story together as a class, or she'll read a story in her reading center where she just reads a book, and we're going to do a storyboard. So I'll give them a paper with a bunch of squares on it, and in each square they can draw a picture of what happened in the beginning and the middle and the end of the story, and then they can write a sentence underneath of it to retell what happened. So at home, there's a lot of fun ways that you can do this with her. So you could have her you can read a story to her, a bedtime story, any kind of fun story that she loves. And you can take a paper bag or a puppet or some object in the house and have her retell the story using that object. So that makes it really fun. Kids really love drama at this age, as I'm sure you know, being with her at home. Since she's such a cheerful, happy spirit, that she really loves drama, I've noticed in the classroom. And then how to just reinforce and keep working with sentence dictation is that you can, here at school, we're gonna do an interactive writing center. So I'm gonna write part of a story and the kids are gonna finish. And then at home, you could write a line from a favorite story that you've read, and then you'll say it word for her and have her write it down. So I'd also like to help Princess with many things, but I like to concentrate on just 2 right now. So one of those things is when she's reading, knowing the letter sounds, but then blending them all together. So if the word's cat, it's k-at, and then saying cat all together. And then also, I'd like to work a little bit more on writing, and specifically helping her to make a complete sentence with all of the words that she wants to say in it. Because I have an example here that I showed you just a little bit ago. Here's a sentence that she wrote, and she wrote it left to right. She wrote it so well. She used capital letters, and at the end she put a period. But she had a complete idea about sharing this activity of what she had done outdoors, but she only wrote the first couple words, and then she skipped the whole middle and then wrote the last couple of words. So I'd really love to work with her on writing the whole sentence on every word that she wants to share, and just writing it how she sounds, so it doesn't have to be spelled correctly, because right now they're just learning the letters and the letter sounds. So some way that we'll do that here at school is we have centers for reading. So when we're at the center, I'll be focusing on listening. Well, that's for the letter sounds and blending. So I'll focus on listening to her and giving her specific feedback on blending and helping her do that. And at home, here's a couple of ideas. You could either read one of her favorite stories to her, take turns reading each page, a short story, or also you could give her a morning message. So you could write a little sentence and change it every couple of days and have her read that, and make sure you're just helping her blend those words. And then with the writing that I had just shared, sorry to skip around a little bit. But with that here at school, when we're doing our prompt time, so the kids get a prompt and then they write about it, I'd like to give her a smiley sticker every time that she's able to write a complete sentence using every word and the idea that she's saying. And I'll give her a sticker every day for 2 weeks, and we'll also give her some extra support. So we'll walk around and help her and give her some encouragement to do that, especially if it's a word that she really wants to say but she's having a hard time. We'd love to sit there and help her. And then at home, you could also help her keep a small journal. So each day you could have her write 1 or 2 sentences about something that was her favorite thing that she did that day. And just do the same thing, just watch and help her, have her say the sentence that she wants to do first, so you know exactly what she needs help writing. So honestly, I really think that your daughter's doing an awesome job. Princess is a really wonderful student, and it's a joy to have her in my class, and I'd love to help keep working with her strengths so that they can become even better more, and to help her continue to get better with her reading and writing every day. So thank you so much for coming to meet with me and sharing your thoughts and concerns with me as well. It was really nice to talk to you, and I hope you can meet with me again next time, and we can talk even more about this and how far she's come along. Thanks so much. Bye, Mrs. Fairy.